Hi, welcome to Faithfully Feminine. My name is Talia and I am so glad you're here. If you're new to this channel, I talk about femininity and God and how I don't really believe one can exist without the other, and how we can bring God into this journey of discovering ourselves and coming back home to our feminine nature. And then how when you realize your closeness with God, that also brings you back into your feminine nature. Today I'm going to be talking to you about how to receive from the masculine. That means maybe inviting a man into your life to be your significant other, or maybe you already have a significant other, and being able to receive him fully is a really important step to be able to take in your feminine journey, and to be able to be in a state of rest and trust and receptiveness to your man. It's really important to be able to do this. One, because I believe that a feminine woman thrives in rest without needing to constantly grab and reach for and aspire and be ambitious and keep going. I think our creativity flows best when we are in a state where we can relax and be free and have space. So that means that if we want to be able to relax, be free and have space, we need to be able to rely on the masculine to provide for us. And I don't mean just men, I mean God. Primarily God. It begins with God. It begins with your relationship with God, and then your relationship with God will determine the way that you are able to receive from the men in your life, or invite men into your life. I used to be quite independent, very independent. I loved to travel. I loved to work really hard and work my way up in every workplace I've ever been in. It was a joy for me to feel strong and independent and like I could look after myself. Little did I know that actually came from a place of wanting to prove myself, and it wasn't authentic to me. And in the last couple of years, I've been able to drop that, and I'm so much happier for it. I'm not saying that it's wrong to be ambitious and to go after what you want and to be independent and to travel. They're all really great things. But when you get your worth from it, or think that it makes you a certain way or a certain person and that defines who you are, I think you're missing the point of how beloved and cherished you are purely just for being who you are. So I want to share a little bit of my story from going from that independent woman state to the state that I'm in now, and how in that state that I was in as an independent woman, I wasn't able to find a man, a masculine man who I felt like could satisfy me. And I also don't think God wanted me to be exposed to that sort of man until I was ready. I am now with my boyfriend, who is the love of my life, and he is everything I could ever want, and our relationship is so beautiful and polarized. And it really took me coming to a place of accepting God first as masculine, as my provider, before I was able to accept it from a human man. Any other man before him that would try and be a man, I would subconsciously reject and feel like, no, I need to prove myself here. I almost felt like it was a competition, and like I constantly needed to prove myself, like I'm actually really good at this, I'm actually so capable, I have enough money to look after myself. And it repelled men, and it also made me feel unsafe in those relationships. I wasn't ever really like a long-term relationship. My relationships didn't last very long because, one, I had very high standards, but I was pushing away the types of men that I wanted in my life. I came to a place when I was living over in England and had a bit of time to travel Europe. And I felt God say to me, it's time. And I also, I don't know if it was God and me, but it was also me being like, it's time. I want a partner. I want a partner. I want to settle down. And I didn't really know where to start, but I knew that it started with kind of doing some research, but also prayer and time with God, and really healing my relationship with him so that I could be the most healthy me possible. And I came across a lot inside me that I didn't realize was there. A feeling, like I said multiple times, just needing to prove myself and compete with men. I found some really helpful Instagram people, YouTubers that taught me that in order to be able to invite a man in your life and make a man feel like he's needed and wanted, I need to be vulnerable. And that was really hard for me, and I don't think I'd ever been vulnerable before with a man. And I was like, there's no way I can do that with just anyone. Like, it takes so much for me to open up and be vulnerable. But the problem is that hard shell that I have is repelling any like healthy man who values his time from coming near me and putting in the work and the effort. So I had to learn how to be vulnerable, and I had to learn through God. I spent 3 months traveling Europe just on my own, and I ended up in Slovenia, my absolute favorite country. And it is such a privilege to be able to do this, but for probably a couple of weeks I stayed in the Socha Valley of Slovenia, and I hiked and I walked along rivers every single day, and I pictured God around me as my masculine provision, because I realized that once I can accept provision from him and accept and be blissed out and relaxed and completely trusting in him, I would be able to do that with a man. And so I remember sitting in the woods one time, and I was sitting on a rock, and I was like, God, thank you for this rock that holds me up, that is my provision. Thank you that in this wood, the oxygen that the trees are producing is provision for me. Thank you for your masculine frame that is holding me right now. Thank you for the money that is coming into my bank account through my online job that is providing for me right now. I just accept it and I receive it. And learning to receive, and you're getting these things regardless, but changing your mindset, changing my mindset to love it, to love receiving, to love being open and be like, yes, I can't do anything on my own without the breath of God within me. I can't do anything without him. He gives me everything that I have. He is my great provider. He's my great protector. In every instance that I'm in when I'm traveling, I'm protected by him. Just reminding myself and getting myself into that mindset shifted something in me. And I started looking at men differently. And this also came with a lot of like self-work and working through some past issues. But I knew it was important to not look at every man as a threat, as someone I need to prove myself to, that they're measuring me up. That's not how it works. A healthy man cherishes the feminine just for who she is. She doesn't need to prove herself in any way. It's just her. And when I started allowing myself to be accepted by God, to be provided for, to be loved into my heart, I realized that the men that I was meeting, even just traveling, I was having such a much more open heart to them and connecting in a different way that I just became a little bit magnetic. And I also treaded very carefully with that, because then I knew my standards and I knew what I wanted. I wanted a life partner. I wasn't messing around. I wasn't doing anything with anyone that wasn't like showing potential, I guess. And I just spent all that time loving on God and feeling the love of God, feeling the masculine frame around me in everything I did. And I ended up going to Canada. I felt like God told me to go to Canada, and I followed that calling, and I stayed at a hostel, and someone who was working that hostel was my now boyfriend. And I even remember sitting in that hostel cafe, because he was working at the cafe there, and I was just doodling and enjoying life, just feeling so grateful for God and so close with him. And I didn't realize that as I was just in that blissed out space, God was working in the background to bring this man into my life. So it's a short video. I'm a bit tired, to be honest, but I wanted to get a video out. But this video, I just want to really encourage you, if you're wanting to invite masculine provision or masculinity in your life and have a polarized relationship, either even that could mean friends, it could mean father, brother relationship, anything. If you are wanting to rest more in your feminine, you need to be able to accept and receive the masculine provision. And that can be hard for us independent girlies. It was hard, but practicing when you know God and recognizing how he provides for you and holds you up, and how he is your solid foundation in everything, and just being grateful for it, can set the stage for when a man comes into your life, being able to openly receive him and be grateful for him already. It's like you're already in that mindset so that and because you're in that mindset, he comes and you're ready to receive him. And it's a really, really beautiful kind of way to prepare the fields. The Bible talks about I can't remember and I do this in every video. I'll put the Bible verse somewhere, and it says that it's one thing to pray for rain, but to prepare for rain, to prepare the way for rain, it shows faith in God. And the Bible is so on and on and on about faith, how important it is to have faith and to walk in step with, this is what I've asked God for, this is what I want, this is what I know he wants for me. I'm going to prepare the way by first setting my mind up properly, setting my relationship with God up properly, so that when my man comes, it is a fertile ground for him. So yeah, there's no 3 steps for this one. It's a concept that I'll encourage you to try, recognizing the masculine all around you, and see how it changes kind of the way you see the world and the way that people respond to you. Alright, I hope you have a lovely week, and I'll see you in my next video. Please like and subscribe if you liked the video, and share it with someone if you think it will help them.